We have to track our numbers. So we force this upon people, for lack of a better way of saying it. We force this upon people inside our business. Inside Lever, we have the agents turn in their numbers on a weekly basis. And by the way, some people look at that and they're like, oh man, that sounds a whole lot like accountability. Well, it is. And it's also my way of making sure that I actually show up for my people the way that I promised them I would show up. Because I take very seriously as a leader, as a coach, that if I tell someone that I'm going to get them to a certain place in their business, that I'm going to actually be able to get them there. And here's the challenge. If I'm not watching the numbers, I don't actually have the whole story. And here's what I mean by that. If you're not watching how many contacts it takes for you to get to an appointment, well, then how many contacts do you know to get? If you don't know how many appointments you need to get in order to get a conversion, well, then how are you ever going to know how many appointments you should have? If your goal is to sell 50 houses this year, you need to know how many people you need to be talking to, therefore how many leads you need to have coming in, how many of those people need to convert to transaction, etc. And here's the challenge that I see in so many businesses. People are blind as to what their actual numbers are. And so they don't actually know how hard they need to work, or really what I tell people is that you don't actually have to work as hard as you think. When you're tracking your numbers, you have crystal clarity on how many people you need to talk to in order to get to where you want to go, right? We have to actually look at what these numbers are. And here's where this shows up in our business and where it's showed up for our agents. I remember I track everything in my ecosystem, everything, because numbers always tell a story. And back in early 2022, towards the end of 2021 and early 2022, I watch all of our contact to appointment ratios because they get turned in by hundreds of agents every single week. And I track those across our whole organization. And I started to see a trend where the number of contacts to appointment was going up. Right? And if the number of contacts to appointment is going up, what does that mean for the business? Throw it in the chat. I know we have a smart group on here. And I started to see this trend. So like I said, towards the end of 2021, early 2022, I started to see the number of contacts increase and the number of appointments go down. So my contact to appointment ratio was changing. And then I called a couple of friends of mine who have big ISA departments. Yeah, Mark said it, tougher conversion rate. Exactly. So then I called a couple of friends of mine who have big ISA departments, internal sales agents, people who are on the phones all day, every day. And I said, hey, I'm noticing this trend in my team's numbers. What are you seeing? And they pulled up their numbers, and guess what? They saw the same. And so I went back to my team in about February of 2022, and I said, hey, this is always the first indicator that the market is changing. And I know you don't feel it yet, but it's coming. It's taking more contacts to get to an appointment. If it takes more contacts to get to an appointment, it means that you not only need to have more leads coming in, but it also means that you need to be talking to more people in order to get to the same number of appointments. Well, what usually happens, contacts are usually the leading domino. So what usually happens if your contact to appointment ratio goes up? It also usually means that your appointment to conversion ratio goes up. You need to have more appointments in order to convert the same number of buyers and sellers. And half of our organization was like, Nikki, you're crazy. This is the best market we've ever seen. We have a license and a pulse, and we walk outside and a consumer falls in our lap and like, you're nuts. We're not doing any more work than we have to do. And some of the agents in our organization took me very seriously and said, we hear you. We know you see something different than what we're feeling. So we'll buy in and we'll do more contacts. Well, what happened in June of 2022? Market changed a little bit everywhere, by the way. We run a national organization. And those agents who heeded the advice, who followed those trends, were way ahead of the market. And I'll tell you that all of those agents that were with us outperformed their markets by over 300% in 2023 because of all of the work that they set themselves up for in 2022. Watch your numbers. They tell a story. And the beautiful thing about watching your numbers is that you don't have to work as hard because you know exactly what you need to do. If I know that I need to get 12 contacts every single day, that's my job. Every single day, my job is just to get 12 contacts. I don't have to do any more. I can't do any less, but I don't have to spin my wheels wondering what it is that I'm trying to do if I know exactly what I need to do by way of tracking what's happening inside my business. So track your numbers so that you know exactly how to get the results that you're looking for.